Every leader knows the crushing weight of failure when a team falls apart, the frustration that boils over when deadlines slip, promises break, and the buzz of potential turns into silence. It's infuriating to watch talent wasted, to see brilliant minds lost to blame games and excuses. Every missed target, every broken commitment feels like a personal betrayal, not just of your vision, but of the very trust you poured into that team. The noise of conflict, the cold walls built by, "It's not my fault," echoes in your head, and it suffocates everything good you tried to build. That feeling, the fire in the gut that screams something's terribly wrong, it won't go away. And it shouldn't, because that is exactly the pain that radical ownership is meant to burn away. Radical ownership isn't just a phrase to throw around. It's a damn revolution in how your team breathes, how each member shows up, how failure gets swallowed and turned into unstoppable power. It demands every single person stop deflecting, stop hiding behind the old stories of "not my problem," and start staring at the mess square in the eyes and saying, "I own this." Yes, this is ownership so deep it shakes the ground beneath excuses and apathy. You, not the system, not the excuse, not the culture, you. This responsibility is frightening, sure, but it's the only path from chaos to that fierce, raw, high-performance machine you dream about every sleepless night. Here's the truth nobody dares to say. If your team members aren't owning their part like their career, reputation, and soul depended on it, the talent, the drive, the money, all wasted. The real power isn't in strategy sessions or the latest management book. It's in this volcanic core of self-ownership, that fire that forces you to ask yourself every morning, what part did I play in this failure? How am I fixing this right now? How did I let down my team, and what will I do differently next hour? Leaders forget this at their own peril. Radical ownership is the acid that melts the ego and forges humility into steel. And only through this steel can you build an unbreakable team. How do you create this? Stop following the old scripts that teach blame shifting. Rip those rules out. You will start by setting an example so raw and undeniable it's impossible for your team to ignore. Show vulnerability like it's your weapon, not weakness. Own your screw-ups publicly. Admit when you fall short. That breaks the toxic culture of hiding and lets others see the path forward. But don't stop there. Command your team the same way you hold yourself accountable, with unyielding, absolute clarity. Every member must name their shti. Make them stand in front of problems and say exactly what they own. No hiding, no excuses. This is brutal, yes, but it's freedom. Freedom from the poison of blame that corrodes every team's soul. Next, build a daily ritual of ownership checks. Not fluffy, "how are we feeling?" meetings. Real, raw conversations, 5 minutes max, where every person states one thing they own fixing, no exceptions. It forces focus and relentless progress. Teams that practice this become lightning in chaos, and you have to enforce it. If someone ducks ownership, call it out immediately and loudly. Let the discomfort teach them the cost of shirking responsibility. This isn't about cult-like loyalty. It's about that primal contract where everyone's skin is on the line. When no one can hide, something wild happens. Teams start to sync and anticipate each other's moves like a hunting pack. The chaos turns into fierce rhythm. But ownership alone is not enough. You must connect that ownership to a higher purpose. A visceral why that scares complacency straight out of your team's veins. This mission has to be so real, so raw, that failure feels like personal death. You must obsessively remind your team not just what they do, but why they do it, and how owning their part means lifting the entire vision. If they don't feel that fire burning in their guts, all the ownership in the world turns to dust. So let that mission be their North Star, their reckoning, their relentless fire. Remind them daily why this matters not just for profit, but for breaking limits, for shaking the world out of its comfortable slumber. Tie ownership to transformation, not just tasks. Now here's the radical part. Too many leaders overlook. You don't build ownership by giving control. You build it by demanding it. Handing out freedom without responsibility is a trap that breeds chaos. You have to build a culture where only those who fully own the chaos get the keys to change it. That means cutting loose those who cling to victimhood or excuses. It means brutal honesty about who's in and who's just taking space. This is not cruelty. It's the hard medicine your team poisoned by comfort and complacency desperately needs. When members know their role is sacred and accountability is not negotiable, they elevate themselves in ways that scare the competition. Another no BS secret? Teach your team how to own their failures before they happen. Sounds impossible? Think again. Develop what seems like a paranoid obsession with risk and mistakes. Before launching anything, sit everyone down and force them to declare, out loud, what can go wrong and whose responsibility it is to fix it immediately. This flips reactive blame into proactive ownership. It creates an environment where dread turns into preparedness, where failures become controlled burns, not deadly wildfires. This kind of preemptive ownership drills teams to fight chaos with eyes wide open. And never forget one core truth wrapped inside all this. Radical ownership creates trust unlike anything else. Because when everyone owns their mark on the battlefield, when no one hides behind excuses or cowardice, trust isn't earned through words or promises. It's earned through sweat, blood, and relentless showing up to fix what's broken every damn time. And that trust is the soil where high-performance teams grow dense and unbreakable. So here's the demand. Stop tolerating the soft, the passive, the hand wavers. This is a call to the fearless, to founders, leaders, and investors who burn with the belief that their team can be ruthless in ownership, unapologetic in accountability, and ferocious in progress. Pray less for luck. Stop trusting luck to solve what only ownership can fix. Fire up that core fire in your gut and let radical ownership consume your team's culture until every single failure feels like a personal emergency. This is not a coaching pep talk. This is war. You are the general, the reckoner of futures, the owner of the battlefield, no matter how messy it gets. Demand radical ownership. Enforce it with love so fierce it breaks egos and builds champions. Connect it to mission so haunting and real it leaves no room for half measures. Build that relentless habit of ownership rituals that make chaos collapse into power. Do this and watch your team transform from a fragile group stumbling in confusion to a war machine moving with deadly precision. You stop managing people. You start unleashing warriors who own every victory and every scar with proud ferocity. And that, right there, makes you unstoppable.